My reactions to Week 13 of the 2023-2024 NFL season. Thursday Night Football, Seahawks, Cowboys. Cowboys beat the Seahawks 41-35. Yes, it's true. The Cowboys defense let up 35 points against a team that couldn't really score any, or that couldn't really score plus 20 in the Seahawks offense that has been struggling. Geno Smith for the Seahawks had a great game despite his shoulder injury that he suffered the previous week, or it was 2 weeks before. I think it was against the Rams 2 weeks before. But Geno Smith went 23 of 41, threw for over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Dak Prescott stepped up in a major way as he continues to state his case for MVP for the Cowboys. Went 29 of 41, threw for dang near 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. In terms of receiving, both number one receivers had monster game. DK Metcalf had 130 yards on 6 receptions for 3 touchdowns, and CeeDee Lamb had 116 yards on 16 receptions, 12 receptions actually, and a touchdown. Sunday morning football. So I should mention that the Ravens, Bills, Bears, Vikings, Giants, and Raiders are all on bye, or were all on bye for Week 13, which means they did not play football Week 13. Cardinals, Steelers. The Steelers got beat down 24-10. The Cardinals won, and the Steelers lost. Steelers not only lost the game, they lost their quarterback, Kenny Pickett, for I don't know how long. Kyler Murray had 1 touchdown, and so did Mitch Trubisky. And James Conner had a big game too. He had 2 touchdowns, 100+ rushing yards on 25 carries. And Trey McBride also caught a touchdown from the Cardinals. Texans beat the Broncos 22-17. Russell Wilson had a touchdown, but he also cost his team the win with 3 interceptions in the second half. CJ Stroud had a good game. Went 16 of 27, throwing for over 200 yards passing, and a touchdown to Nico Collins. And Dameon Pierce also had a touchdown on the ground. One of those interceptions came from on the 3 Russell Wilson interceptions. One of those interceptions came from Jimmy Ward to end the game, and 2 came from Derek Stingley. Colts beat the Titans 31-28. 31-28 in overtime. Touchdown. Threw for 100+ yards and went 16 of 33. Derrick Henry had 2 touchdowns, 100+ yards rush on 21 carries. But Gardner Minshew had 2 touchdowns, over 300 yards passing, went 26 of 42. Threw a touchdown on Michael Pittman Jr. He threw the game-winning touchdown to Alec Pierce in overtime. Dolphins absolutely shitted on the Commanders, 45-15. Absolutely dismantled them. Tyreek Hill for the Dolphins, 157 yards receiving on 5 receptions. Fucking 5 receptions. You know how insane you gotta be to have 100+ yards receiving in just 5 receptions? Pretty freaking insane. And he also had 2 touchdowns. Devon Achane also had 2 touchdowns for the Dolphins running game. Overall, it was just a rout. Tua had 2 touchdowns, but he threw those 2 touchdowns to Tyreek Hill. Chargers-Patriots. Chargers beat the Patriots 6-0 in a game that was in bad cable. Surprisingly, because I thought the Chargers would have for sure had more points scored on the board. But I guess not. Lions bounced back against the Saints. They led 21-0 by the end of the first quarter before allowing New Orleans to come back in the game. And there's no way in hell that should have happened. Shouldn't have been that close. But it is what it is. At least the Lions won. Jared Goff had a nice bounce back game. Touchdowns, threw for over 200 yards passing, and went 16 of 25. Porta had a massive game for the Lions. 9 receptions, 140 yards receiving, and a touchdown. Derek Carr was playing trash until he wasn't. Started to come back a little bit. He got injured. So they had to replace him with Jameis Winston, Mr. 50 for 50. If you know, you know. And Taysom Hill played really well also. Mr. Go-Go Gadget for New Orleans had 13 carries, 59 yards rushing, and threw a touchdown. Actually, no, he ran one in. Derek Carr threw a touchdown, but he also threw an interception to Brian Branch. Alvin Kamara scored a touchdown, and the touchdown that Derek Carr threw was to Jimmy Graham, Mr. Ageless Wonder. The Sunday afternoon games, Panthers Buccaneers. Buccaneers beat the Panthers 21-18. Mike Evans, 7 receptions, 162 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown. Just destroyed the Panthers individually and collectively as a team. A nice bounce back win for the Buccaneers. For the Panthers, I would say it's a good thing that you had the number 1 pick, but you don't. Rams beat the Browns, and their quarterback don't have an offense. 36-19. Really, the score wasn't all that that large. It was a close game, and then the Browns started to separate themselves. Or not the Browns, the Rams started to separate themselves. I'm sorry, I'm a little sick, but I'm just got a little bit of a headache. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Matthew Stafford went 22 of 37, threw for over 200 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns against the vaunted Browns defense, who, in all fairness, did lose their best player, basically. Myles Garrett was injured. The defense's best player and arguably the team's best player. Unless you want to dispute that, Nick Chubb is when he's healthy. The one good news for the Browns is that Joe Flacco, who came off the couch, threw 2 touchdowns. He also threw an interception. Went 23 of 44 and scored over 200 yards and threw for over 200 yards passing. Overall, great win for the Rams as they stay in playoff contention, and the Browns, they seem to be falling apart. But like I said, the good news for them is that Joe Flacco played a pretty well game. And 49ers Eagles. 49ers just wrecked shop on the Eagles 42-19. Deebo Samuel, who talked a lot of shit in the offseason, touchdowns. Scored 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey also had a touchdown. And Brock Purdy threw 4 touchdowns. After starting the game off 0-6 after the first quarter. And after that first quarter, it was pretty much all 49ers. I'd say it's more specifically after the first half, because there was still a 14-6 ball game after the end of the first half. But in the third quarter, yeah, from that point on to the fourth quarter, it was pretty much a wrap. Didn't play particularly bad for the Eagles. Went 26 of 45 for over 200 yards passing and a touchdown to Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown had statistically had a good game. Caught 8 balls, 100. Sorry, brain's not computing. Had 100 yards receiving and 0 touchdowns. But let's be honest here. Nobody on the Eagles really had a good game. The 49ers, like I said, absolutely smashed the Eagles. Chiefs Packers Sunday Night Football. Packers beat the Chiefs 27-19. Jordan Love had a phenomenal game. 3 touchdowns, threw for over 200 yards passing, and went 25 of 36. And the Packers defense held the Chiefs offense to 19 points. Isaiah Pacheco had a touchdown, and so did Patrick Mahomes. He had a touchdown. Great, but overall, the Packers defense was able to hold the Chiefs and Travis Kelce to only 80 yards receiving, as they also sacked Patrick Mahomes times and also forced an interception from Patrick Mahomes. As overall, it was a good game, but the Chiefs did not deserve to win that game. There was pass interference, an obvious pass interference towards the end of that game, and I will concede to that. But at the same time, the Packers, or not the Chiefs, also got away with the Packers they also got cheated. They got a penalty for a hit out of bounds when Patrick Mahomes was clearly in bounds. So I guess the pass interference was a makeup call, or the no pass interference was a makeup call for the Packers. And as far as the Hail Mary, the defenders pushed Travis Kelce a little bit, but at the same time, you can't really expect him to throw a flag on a Hail Mary situation towards the end of the fourth quarter, or towards the end of the game at all. And finally, Monday Night Football, Bengals Jaguars. Bengals beat the Jaguars 34-31. As not only did the Jaguars lose this game, but they also lost their quarterback for the next 3 weeks, Trevor Lawrence. And going back to the Bengals, Jake Browning had an incredible game. Had over 300 yards passing, 354 to be exact, and went 32 of 37. Overall, great win for the Bengals. For the Jaguars, like I said, overall it was another great week of football. Curious to see how week 14 goes, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.